Hi, y'all. I want to talk about my favorite indicators and the indicators. I think I'm pretty good on the indicators I'll probably be using for the rest of my life. However, these are the beginner-friendly trading indicators. So I don't think I'll ever stop using them because it just makes my life easier. However, you sometimes I don't really use them, but I'm glad that they're there. So we're gonna start on the 1 hour. The 1 hour has all my indicators that I don't really use, but use. The main one though. I have the ICT indicator on, not ICT, the SMC, yeah, Smart Money Concept. So that's what shows these like red order blocks. It will show blue order blocks. It shows breakup structures and change of characters. So I do like that for the overall. However, I've noticed on the 1 hour chart, because I use the 1 hour chart to find my liquidity points and I go trade it on the 5 minute. Some of these change of characters, they hold, but they don't. So like technically, this is a market structure shift, come up. These are fair value gaps, enter to go higher, but we didn't. We swept London and then we went lower to sweep London sell side. So I feel like you do get that, but it will really take out liquidity on both sides before it keeps going lower. As you see, we are in a downtrend, so it worked for like the tops. Like this day was a day to take sales, change of character the next day, but the next day, look, it went up to sweep buy side, so you could take a nice buy, and then it went down after that on the Asian in London. You see what I'm saying? So even New York has been going up to go down. We got it down, but so like it depends on what session you trade. So I kind of can turn that off, but sometimes to see if it reacts off of order block, but it usually doesn't. Usually, I'm thinking about actually turning it off, but I just have it on because I don't really look at the 1 hour chart that long just to get my overall trading bias. And then the fair value gap indicator I use on both. I use it on the 1 hour because I leave it on the 1 hour fully so it can inverse. You see, on my 5 minute, it goes away once it's filled. So this goes away once it's filled on the 5 minute, but on the 1 hour, we have it still because boom, once we inversed, I don't trade PM session, but a good time to go down. For this one, we bounced off of it. We got a wick, so I was good on the sales. I mean, you love it when a liquidity sweep of a session goes into a fair value gap. You love that. You love that. And then the main one for this is the ICT sessions. ICT sessions is the main one set up for life. So if y'all been following me on TikTok or even, I don't know if I was posting YouTube back then, but on TikTok, I had that um the sessions chart with the red, green, and blue as the whole background. And those are technically, yes, Asian session when it comes to like futures, but not with ICT trading, and I'm an ICT trader. So basically, like my session highs and lows were wrong. So that's why sometimes so basically on that other indicator, the liquidity would start at 9 o'clock or 9:30. So I'd be waiting for a liquidity sweep of this high before my market structure shift down. Versus with ICT sessions, they're the kill zone hours. So when I get on the chart now, I can be like, oh, this was already the liquidity sweeps. Now I'm waiting for it to come back down. So it helps with the session. So I mark, the London low was my target. You see what I'm saying? Like it's the ICT sessions, not just like the whole time frame session. You see what I'm saying? And then my New York session is set between AM and PM because I only trade AM. But the London, this is the liquidity. These, not all this in between. Like I would have done. I would have done like this is the liquidity of London, even though it still swept it. This is already a sweep to go back up. So this is the indicator that's helped me so much. There's also an ICT kill zone indicator, which does the same thing. It marks out the kill zones, Asian highs, the London lows, the New York. But you need an ICT sessions or ICT kill zone indicator if you trade ICT. The lines are very different. Even sometimes the PM session is a liquidity point. It helps me, like, see, like here, we swept the New York PM session, and then we reversed for a nice little gain. It didn't go all the way to the London or the Asian of that day, but this is where you would have known to like, hey, I'm gonna catch a reverse. And or even know where the draw liquidity was. See, we broke London. You kind of might want to wait for market structure shift to the downside. That would be a nice trade, but it didn't do that. It went up to the next liquidity, which was New York. PM session. So that is my main reason and main indicator for the 1 hour. The SMC Smart Money Concepts one is a good one. I know a lot of people use it and people just keep it on. So I have it. The fair value gap and then the ICT sessions. And then I have the session breaks for the day breaks. And I have it set for midnight, but I literally don't even use them. I have it on there and I think I have it on this one too. But I don't really use them. But technically, like your day here, so your high of day would be the PM lunch instead of your high being like the 5 p.m. high of day, which might be like way over here or might be like right here. So you would think this is your point of liquidity to be swept, and it's not. Your liquidity was already swept. So I just cater it to more ICT trading because that's how I trade. Because the daily chart doesn't do midnight to midnight. If you're like trading futures or forex, the daily chart goes like 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. to the next day, basically. It doesn't start midnight to midnight like ICT talks about. And then for my actual execution chart, my 5-minute chart, I do the ICT everything, which marks the midnight open for your power of 3. I have it marked the 8:30 open because remember I used to trade at 8:30. Now I don't. So I get on and I just mark my own 9:30 because they've changed the settings where I can't change this blue line. However, the 8:30 is still important. If you're hoping for a sell day, you want to be above the midnight and above the 8:30, which we were. So I knew I was buying sells. I still think the 8:30 open is a great open. It's also when all the news happens. So I leave it at that. But it's just like your power of 3. I don't trade the power of 3 often. However, because since we trade at 9:30 stock market open, the power of 3 is not, it doesn't really help. Versus like if you trade this session, which is I think London, which I've thought about trading, but my sleep schedule, because it's like as soon as market opens, it'll go but below or above for a few hours, and then the rest of the day it's doing its thing. But I guess not the rest of the day, because see, you would have a good up and then you want it going down. So you would have like, you would buy and your point liquidity would be like here. But I like how like it just does this for a little bit and then it goes up. So it's like you use it, but you don't really use it. The main two I use to trade, actually the main one is the fair value gap indicator. I'm not drawing all these fair value gaps throughout the day while I'm trading. You see people do it, they tell you like, hey, there's a fair value gap and they mark it and they just, I'm not like it's already there. Now I will mark it on the 5-minute because on the 5-minute, my fair value gaps go away once they're filled. So this one was marked on my recap on my recap today. This one was marked. So once we inversed it, I know we were good. You see what I'm saying? Like I'll do that. Other than that, I don't draw them. You see how they're just made for me and I enter off of them and I love it. And that is the fair value gap from Nephew Sam. I've talked about this on many indicators because I've been using it for a long time. And I don't think I'm ever not going to use it. That's why I'm like not going back to Thinkorswim for charting because I just need this indicator in real time. It makes the indicators, it makes the fair value gaps. I don't need to draw them. It is beautiful. And then lastly, the 50 EMA on the 5-minute. I don't use it often. However, I use it enough. Like I love when it aligns perfectly with the market structure shift like this to break the market structure. Break the EMA with the market structure shift with the fair value gap. I love when it does that. Sometimes on the days like this, where you know how I trade like either sweep liquidity, market structure shift, or I do like pullbacks on days like this where I'm not really good as the market just keeps going up from when I got on the charts. I will use the EMA to like play when it comes back and taps it. Like it'll break it, it'll come back and tap it, and then I'll get in off the EMA for continuation plays. It helps with continuation plays the most, but it lines up with ICT very well, as you see here. As you see like market structure shift here, fair value gap. It just lines up very well. And it's just an extra confluence. I don't use it often. The one I use the most is the fair value gap. I depend on it. It keeps me here to TradingView. If I didn't need that fair value gap indicator, I would just be trading fully on Trade or fully on Thinkorswim. But it is a
Hi, y'all. I want to
fantastic
talk about
indicator, and it's probably the only one you need. Order blocks, breaker blocks, you will have to draw yourself unless you do the SMC indicator. So that's why I did have that one on here at first, but I don't really trade order blocks. I kind of do, but they line up with fair value gaps well, but I have them on the 1 hour. But yeah, that's all you need. So my top three would be obviously number one, fair value gap indicator, nephew Sam. Number two is gonna be ICT sessions. I never know which. Yeah, ICT sessions would be number two. Then number three, ICT everything. Number four, SMC Smart Money Concepts by Lux Algo. Then number five, the EMA. And these are very beginner friendly. Like these will help your trading so much better. And then you'll start to see this stuff in real time. Like I said, now I kind of see this stuff in real time. So I don't really depend on the indicators, but they're up there. So if I miss something, because there are days when I will miss something. And there are days I have missed something, even with these indicators on the screen. So I'll have, and I can be like, oh, I missed this market target shift, but we got a trend, we got an EMA break that it came back and tapped it and then went down. Or I could be like, oh, I marked the wrong liquidity, which I did. No, I thought I did. I thought this was the bottom of London in the middle, and it wasn't. It was my target. So I almost sold early, thinking this was the bottom of London, and it wasn't. This was the bottom of London. So it's like it helps you like have your liquidity points marked better. It helps you just not have to have your brain do so much. Trading is already a mental game. It's a psychology game. So whatever makes it easier for you, you do. Obviously, people talk about clear charts, clear charts, clear charts, which I get. Like this hour chart looks insane, and it does. I can't lie. But it does. I zoom into these little Asian or London sessions, usually fair value gap made, and then boom, on here it's clear. I'm looking for sales with a fair value gap. I got in on this fair value gap up here, took it down for a 1 to 11 trade with my stop loss above the swing high. And it was a beautiful trading day. And that's just what you want. You want to make it easier for yourself. So again, the most important to me is the fair value gap. People love drawing them themselves. I personally rather die. I like this indicator. Also, the SMC indicator, the Smart Money Concepts Lux Algo indicator, you can turn on fair value gaps, which I learned afterwards. Same with I think ICT sessions, I can do day breaks. Like there's a few that I have like double. I have two indicators and one indicator does it all that I didn't know at the time, but I don't want to change the settings and mess something else up because I've done that before. The first time I had the ICT everything's indicator, I had something messed up and it always had this like warning, like little emoji on the beginning of New York session. I don't know what I did. So I just removed it and put it back on. And these are the indicators. They're very beginner friendly and they will help you become profitable way faster. And then eventually you might not need them, but I don't know. I love them. I like the colors on my chart. I like things to stick out to me. And yeah, nephew Sam, fair value gap, ICT everything and ICT sessions. EMA 50 is the best one, I think. There's 20, there's 9. I tried them all. The 50 respects ICT the best. And Smart Money Concepts by Lux Algo. There you are.